Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing a new Barbie makeover for the Barbie makeover series on my channel. Today we are doing Superstar Barbie. Barbie! Superstar! Superstar Barbie was one that I knew that I wanted to attempt. Now before we go any further, I just want to say that this is not to compete with the beauty of Superstar Barbie. I would never do that. She's one of my favorite dolls, so all of you Superstar Barbie stans, do not come to me and be like, oh, you know, she will never touch Superstar Barbie. I'm not trying to. I'm trying to make a tribute doll, so something better than what Mattel has given us, you know, this year.
Go ahead and open your present.
What the hell?
But I'm trying to do a tribute. I'm not trying to replace, and I'm not trying to step on any of your toes. I know that a lot of you in the Superstar Barbie community can be very sensitive about your good old girl, and I know that you don't think Mattel has done a good face sculpt since 1977, if you catch my drift. I would disagree. Put respect on my childhood Barbie's name. The whole point of this whole makeover series is to test myself and to do something that I genuinely enjoy doing, which is designing. Mattel has never looked at my resume. They're not interested in anything that I have to sell. Likewise.
Pow! I guess I can cross them off the Christmas card list. I really hope you enjoy this. This has been a long time in the making. I actually designed this doll whenever I designed my Malibu Barbie doll. And I really wanted to get started on her right after, and I didn't, and I kind of wish that I did, because then the whole process would have like sped by, whereas that's been like a couple months now and it's just kind of been sitting stagnant. There was a natural disaster headed our way.
I'll get you, my pretty.
And that convinced me to get into gear and to finish this project. It also helped with the fact that my phone ran out of storage. I hope you enjoy this doll. Please let me know how you love it down in the comments. And I also want to inspire you to make your own Barbies. Design your own things. Go ahead and like take that step and make something special for your collection. Why not? You know, you might make something that's really beautiful and really glamorous, and if you do, please let me know down in the comments or tag me on Instagram. My Instagram is falconary615, so you are more than welcome to send me a message and show me all the things that you've made for your Barbie dolls, because I'm genuinely interested in other creatives and seeing other people's collections and getting to know you all like more on a personal level. So anyway, thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you enjoy the video.
Superstar Barbie! Hi, I'm Judy. I want you to meet new Superstar Barbie doll.
You might be wondering, who is Superstar Barbie and why is she so important? And why exactly does she have a whole week dedicated just to herself? To me and most Barbie collectors, it's a no-brainer. She was a blueprint for every Barbie released after 1977. It was the first time in a long time that Barbie had been completely reinvented. Before her, and since 1971, Barbie had been known for being the beach queen. But eventually the beach scene and the hippie movement had to go. And if we can be honest here with each other, the beach scene had probably overstayed its welcome. And if it wasn't for the oil and electric crisis out in the 70s, I'm sure that the change would have happened even sooner than 1977. And if a change happened even sooner, who knows if we would have even gotten the Superstar Barbie. You see, Barbie likes to change her looks very often. That is how she's able to capture a new audience every 7 to 5 years. And at the time that the
this doll was being designed, glamour and disco was so in, thanks to the likes of Bob Mackie, Cher, Diana Ross, Donna Summer, Dolly Parton, Olivia Newton-John, and of course, the main inspiration for superstar Barbie, Farrah Fawcett. You see, in the mid-70s, Barbie sales had really plummeted, and although she was made with nice enough quality, the quality had not been the same since the early 70s. And even though designers were really doing their best, even with the circumstances they were given, they still were not able to replicate the same success that they had in the 1960s. As you see, in the 1960s, Barbie was just simply untouchable. And that could be because she was brand new, but it also had to do with the quality in the designs and the execution. At that time, when you bought a Mattel item, you knew that it was going to be the best of the best. But in the 70s, the designers were not able to do as much as they were able to do in the 60s based on tight budgets, which left an opening for other toy companies to take advantage of the spot that Barbie was once in. And in 1976, the worst thing imaginable happened. The Mego Cher doll. Not only was she based off of a popular star of the time, she also was associated with Bob Mackie, who was the king of the 1970s glamour dress. And not only that, like I said before, glamour was back in the forefront. And Barbie still did have some more glamorous fashion choices, but she herself primarily had left glamour back in 1970. So to compete with the Cher doll and then to stay in with the times, and since Barbie didn't have a celebrity associated with her, Mattel really had no choice but to make her into a superstar. And God, was she beautiful. She had long, fully rooted hair that was two-toned with highlights. She had a more peachy skin tone with actual jewelry with little rhinestones that still could be removable. So if you wanted to remove them and make her more beachy, you totally could. And this is where marketing is so brilliant. Think to yourself, when you take out her jewelry, where are you supposed to put it? Well, obviously in her superstar Barbie safe with a beautiful portrait of the superstar herself. What better way to keep your jewelry safe as well as Barbie's than a safe? And they didn't stop there. They came with new costumes, which also came with its own exclusive jewelry. Most of the Best Buy outfits now also had a touch of glamour. She had also more budget fashions that had touches of glamour. New furniture, a new car, and a new house to go with. And not only Barbie got an upgrade, her friends also got an upgrade. We have one of the most beautiful Barbies in the whole wide world, superstar Christy, who is still my tops, and I'm just so happy to have her, as well as the most handsome man in town, superstar Ken, who is rumored to be modeled after Robert Redford, or some people even think Ryan O'Neal, but I'm going with Robert Redford. I like him more. Superstar Barbie was one of their most successful Barbie dolls, and she truly helped elevate Barbie into that superstar status. Just with that title alone, you are convinced that she is a superstar. The doll sold really well and really elevated Barbie and put her right back in her rightful spot, number one. Needless to say, they were not hearing from Mego ever again. Her impact is truly unmatched in the Barbie community, and without her, I really don't think Barbie would be what she is today. And you might be thinking, Dakota, you're like 20-something years old. Why do you care about superstar Barbie? Because, girl, I had a book and I read all about Barbie history. I was a Barbie nerd through and through, and there were a handful of dolls that were on my must-have list, and I just wouldn't stop until I found her.
Long backstory short.
Back when Barbie had her 50th anniversary, I was in middle school, and they released the My Favorite Barbie reproduction collection. And in that collection were a lineup of truly wonderful dolls, one of them being Superstar Barbie. Besides the 1959 doll in the Twist and Turn, Superstar Barbie was on my wish list. And it took a lot for me to save up for those dolls because they were at that time $50 retail. And again, I was in middle school. And where was I going to get $50? Thankfully, all I ever did was save my birthday cash, just in case I went to a flea market and found treasure. So that Christmas, I was on the hunt for Superstar Barbie. And did I find her? No. You see, in my store, Superstar Barbie was very hard to find. The easiest to find were the 1971 reproduction of Malibu Barbie and the 1959 Ponytail Barbie. But one day, I found her. But unfortunately, I forgot my money at home and I was never able to get her. That is until earlier this year I did buckle down and finally find one for a halfway decent price, because the recent Superstar Barbie reproduction just really did not do it for me. She was decent, but she still didn't have that magic that the 50th anniversary Barbie gave me. Which, by the way, if you all are interested in reproduction Barbies, I do suggest that you look into the 50th anniversary collection. Those dolls really do it for me. And it could just be the nostalgia factor, considering that they were around for my childhood and I loved playing with them, but that's a different video. Soon after not getting the My Favorite Collection Superstar Barbie, I did find one at a flea market whenever I was in middle school. Honestly, I played with her and loved her to death, and thankfully I still do have her. So although I was never able to play with the 50th anniversary doll whenever I was a child, I was able to play with the real deal, the superstar herself. So in a way, I do feel like she's also from my childhood as well. So when deciding to do another tribute doll, I really didn't have to think about it whatsoever. I knew I wanted to make a tribute of a doll that started a whole new era and who really cemented Barbie into superstar status. I even like Superstar Barbie so much that I have her displayed on my nightstand. Other than my animals, they are one of the first things I see when I wake up. So let's get on with designing a superstar. So the first thing I do is I usually just go straight to pencil and paper and I just start drawing whatever I'm feeling. So right here you can see that I'm drawing the Superstar Barbie. This is pretty much the route I went with, but I did come up with some other dress designs too. Like you can even see how early this sketch is compared to, there's a sketch for my 1959 tribute doll that I made like in, I want to say April or May. So this has been a long time coming. Here's some more designs I was going with. I was gonna go for like something like this, but then I was like, ooh, that's a little bit like too share for me. And then I drew this and I said, look into this. So I was telling my little ADHD brain to look into this. And this is basically what I came up with. So here you can see another design that I kind of went with it. I was going for something a little bit more avant-garde. And I even got paint on this one, but this was like another one that I went for that focused more on the drawing that I had drawn. And you can see some of, whenever I show you what I actually made, you can see some of the references on here. I did use this. So after all the rough sketches were done, I went ahead and went with a final sketch. So this is the sketch that I used that I was pretty sure I was going to do something with. And actually, like this time, because the other designs that I've shown you, I've kind of like went away from the original design, but this one is pretty true and faithful except for the hair. I would say that everything is just as I thought in my brain. So yeah, that was pretty stressful to make. I had some very high ambitions for this project, but thankfully I was able to execute that onto the doll herself. So after designing and thinking long and hard, I get to decide what kind of a doll head mold I would like to use. With the other dolls that I've designed, I did use the Odile mold. And to be honest with you, I really do like this face mold a lot. She gives me more fantasy than any of the other Barbie head molds that are out right now. With these tribute dolls, I am trying to go for something a little bit more modern, a little bit new. So it might seem sacrilegious that I'm not using a superstar head mold, but to be honest, it's been done before and it's going to keep on being done again and again and again because it is so iconic and it is so well loved. But when I think modern and I think about Barbie's future, I immediately think of this head mold. So whenever it came to picking out a head mold to use for this tribute Barbie, it was just a no-brainer for me. Although I will say I almost used a different head mold, but I will reveal that later. Now, I have gotten rid of the mermaid's face paint now about 4 different times, and let me just tell you, each time I say a little prayer for my sanity. The UV printed paint is such a bitch to get off of a doll's head. But that means it's pretty sturdy to scrub with a toothbrush and baking soda, which also means it might be able to withstand extensive play from children. So in the future, if you are trying to restore a Odile mermaid doll, you most likely will not have to worry about the face paint. To get off this face paint, I'm using 100% acetone, and you can wear gloves if you want, but just be warned, it might eat through those gloves too. Just personally like to use Q-tips for the job. I also go in and get rid of any paint that's on the top of the head for the hair. Now, I've had some of you ask me what I use whenever I repaint a doll's head, especially like on top of the hair to get ready for a reroot. And to tell you the truth, I actually do not repaint the top of the head ever. Now, that is a personal choice of mine because I really don't think that I need to. But if I was planning to give a doll some sparse plugs, I probably would paint the top. And after a few prayers, she's done. Okay, so here are all of my materials. I have everything that you can possibly imagine. I purchased these materials over the span of maybe 3-4 months because when I did my first makeover series with the first Barbie, my initial thoughts went to Superstar Barbie. Right after I thought about Malibu Barbie, I was like, well, what if I just did Superstar Barbie? But then I was like, no, I need to go ahead and do my Malibu Barbie. And I'm so glad I did because she came out perfect too. So I'm going to now begin on my Superstar Barbie project. So I hope that this turns out well. I'm pretty sure it will. But this is the original concept. I want to use materials that are very, in my word, fantasy. I want to use very fantasy. So again, I am hearkening back to drag. I'm hearkening back to camp. This is not going to be demure Barbie. This is going to be loud and proud. Here she is Barbie, because in my opinion, that's what the Superstar era is all about. It is all about fantasy, and we're gonna live that. So I went to actually Joann Fabrics and I found this for my Malibu Barbie, but as I got it, I said, wow, that is so pretty. It has this sheen to it that's absolutely gorgeous. I don't know if I can capture that on camera, but it's beautiful. It is a organza. It's very pretty. It does have the ribbing in it, which I'm not like a huge fan of, so I'm wondering if I can make that a little bit more demure with an iron and such, because that's not how the fabric is woven. It's just how it is. It's just kind of like wrinkled in that way, which looked great for the beach, but for this I kind of want something a little bit more. I found this satin material at Joann's, and it is not the pink that I wanted, but it is orange, and I purchased it because I said, well, all I need to do is add a tinge of pink and then it will be that perfect salmon color that I want. But then I was also thinking, I was like, well, what if I just did this, put the overlay on top, and then it kind of becomes the pink that I'm looking for. Although I think what I'm just going to do is I am going to in fact dye this a little bit pink, because I think it needs a little bit more added help, if you know what I mean. I have some lining material. This is what I'm going to use to line. It is very thin, so I think it's gonna work out perfect. I would ideally like to line all of the dress. That is the goal anyway, especially the skirt, because it does have this, you know, big slit up in the front. Now, all of this right here, I want this to be rhinestones. So I want rhinestones to go all the way down. I want her chains to be all rhinestoned. I want there to be a belt, because originally Superstar Barbie came with a bracelet. Well, some of them came with the bracelet, and this promotional bracelet like had a star on it and everything. And I was like, wouldn't that be cool if it became the belt? So it's like, okay, well, I'm just going to make my own version of the bracelet and put it around her waist, and that would create the belt. And then I'm going to make her a little charm bracelet with Superstar Barbie bee on it with a little star, and I think that's going to be really pretty too. I do have some star sequins that are somewhere in my sequin stash that I could like put at the bottom of the dress and make it look like stars are going up. I think that would be so pretty. And I have shoes that actually kind of remind me of Superstar Barbie shoes, just like versions of them now. So I think these will be perfect, especially whenever I paint them pink and all of that. So we'll get to that shortly. This is going to be a very large project. I hope to get this out in a week.
Sure, Jan.
When painting a doll from scratch, I usually like to start with Mr. Super Clear, and after a whole day of waiting, I will go in and start with my watercolor pencils. Doing it this way does take quite some time, to be honest with you, but even though it does take some time, The end results are really good. And after I've done enough layers of the watercolored pencil, I will go in periodically with acrylic paint. You are able to layer watercolored pencil and acrylic paint, but you will need to add some Mr. Super Clear layers in between. Now I'm going to tell you something. This face that I'm drawing on right now, I ended up not even keeping. And that is because it didn't speak to me, especially in the eyes. And believe it or not, my inspiration for the eyes were an early Y2K Barbie. But for some reason, it just did not work on this face mold. I just cut out some of the dress pieces right here, and I thought I would just like leave it orange and then put the pink overlay over top. But I think I will end up dyeing these a little bit pink, because as I stated before, I do think that the orange is a little bit more prevalent than my pink organza anyway. And I think that if I add just a little bit of pink to it, I will get that neon pink color that I was looking for.
Is that so?
The pink dye didn't exactly go the way that I thought it would. I thought that it would just pick up like with the orange and become like this neon pink and look all cute.
Oh, really?
Yes, really.
Because in my head that's what made sense, but obviously it did not take to it, I don't think. Hello, this is editing me. You don't think? Girl, it's still orange. Okay, back to the program. So I am just going to put like the organza on top. Like here I have this nylon tricot, which I did dye, so that came out perfect. But we're just gonna have to see when everything is all dry. If not, I do have extra pink satin that I can just use. I just wanted to use this because it had like, see how shiny it is? Like I think that's so pretty. And granted, I'm gonna be covering it up with pink organza anyway, but I just wanted to see even more shine underneath of it, but that's fine. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, then I have an orange version, so it'll all happen the way it should be. And here it is with the pink organza on top of it, and if you move around, you can still see a slight sheen through it, and I think that this will look fine. It gives it more of that salmon color, just like I wanted, so this will be perfect. And you might be wondering to yourself, is she really painting that shoe with nail polish? Hear me out. It's pretty. It's pink, it's sparkly, and it looked mesmerizing on my nails. So I said, why not put it on the shoe? I used saran wrap to wrap around the foot so that way I wouldn't have gotten any nail polish on it. And granted, I should have gone in with a primer first. That would have been the smart thing to do. Speaking of prepping and smart things to do, let's talk about ironing. I can burn fabric with an iron better than anyone I know. So if you're interested in how to burn fabric, then I'm the person for you. Garments always look better whenever they're ironed before and after they're sewn. Here I am making the boa. This was the easiest part of this entire project. And by the way this project was going, I was totally expecting that thread just to snap. But thankfully, it did not. And it turned out
It's big, scary, and pink!
And as you can see, it didn't turn out half bad. And now we're sewing on the organza overlay. When making these dolls or any customized dolls, I do tend to make the projects a little bit more difficult for myself. And that's usually because I've not been trained whatsoever. So this is how I learn, by trial and error. Sometimes I'm grateful for the moment of learning, and sometimes I start cussing. It really depends on the day. If I didn't learn anything from this project, there would be one thing for sure that I learned. It's patience. Sometimes these projects will really take it out of you. It's important to know that these are your designs, and you should never let your designs take over you, because you are the designer. You are the ringleader of this circus. You're also the clown of this circus, and you might get in your head, and you might say to yourself, I can't. But can't means won't, and we're not quitters. No, we're not. As we believe that we can be anything. And we can do anything as long as we're willing to try. So you might stop yourself and be like, oh, I can't do that. But let's be honest, neither could I. But eventually I did, because I believed in myself. And I believed that anything is possible as long as you try. And if anything, look at these projects as like building a Lego set. Each piece is important, even the smallest piece. And at the end, it creates a beautiful product. And maybe you've bitten off more than you can chew, and that's okay as well, because at least you're trying, and at least you were willing to make it work. And failing is just a learning opportunity. And it's art. How scary could it be?
Marty, I'm scared.
It was at this point that I thought I did a really good job. So I went ahead and sewn in the lining. I'm quite perturbed. I spent a lot of time making this and I was really liking the shape it was taking, but I'm gonna be honest, I put in the lining and that's where everything just started going to shit. The lining's not very good quality and I just feel it coming through the fabric. It's all bunching up and not looking right, and I could work with it, but the way that it's making the boobs look right here, it just looks atrocious. It's not like what I was wanting whatsoever. So I'm going to redo this completely. Unfortunately, that is just something that sometimes you have to do, especially whenever you're making more elaborate gowns. But thankfully I did not put up my fabric yet, so that's less work for me to do. But I'm going to calm myself down. I'm going to go eat some lunch and then I'm going to try this all over again. Okay, so I'm back with the new pieces for the dress. I'm thinking about doing the same thing, but I did change out the bottom material to a pink satin, and it honestly looks a lot better. So sometimes things are just meant to be, but I will go ahead and try to get this sewn up just like I did the other one, and we will see how it looks. Okay, so this is after a couple hours. I am not in love with it. So there are a couple things I like, there's a couple things I don't like. Like number one, I wanted her to have like an exposed bosom, like where it goes up, but look how sloppy that looks. Absolutely hate it. It looked better before I started finishing it up, and now that it's all finished up, I'm like, oh, that looks awful. It's wrinkly in places where it should be wrinkly. It just doesn't look like it's up to par. What I do like is I like how much longer it is now, like how much more mermaidy it is towards the bottom. There's too much of the paneling going on. There needs to be less of that, and I think that that could be the problem as to why it is all bunched up like that.
Is it just me, or does she look like the Beldam from Coraline? Boy, can I make a doll. Happy Halloween.
I'm seeing a lot of things I don't like with this project so far. I've called it my cursed project because every time I work on it, like my animals get sick, like they throw up, and then I have to take care of them and clean up the mess. And then, of course, I've just got like a humongous migraine for no reason. Absolutely. And this thing's just really racking my brain. So I need to get started and work on something else. So I'm probably going to work on something else and get my mind off of this, watch some TV, maybe eat a snack, maybe order some food. And yeah, because this is just not it. We're just gonna, whoosh, looks better naked. Third time's a charm, and I'm still gonna keep trying to do my original design.
Let's talk about starting over again. Look, it can really hurt to do this once, maybe to do it twice, but to do it 3 times, oh, I was over it. But I had the faith that I have the talent somewhere deep inside of me that I could make this outfit. I could make it the way I designed and the way I wanted it. And I was not going to make anything half-assed, because why make it if it's going to be that way? These projects should not be a chore. They should be fun, and learning can be fun. So if you ever feel like your project is no longer fun, just put it down and work on something else, or just wait until you're more in the mood to work on it.
Okay, so now I have the lining all cut out and I have the garment cut out. I'm going to map out my seams, and then I'm going to copy those seams into the lining. And I'm gonna make a lining because I want it to be luxury.
When trimming your seams, sometimes it can be a little bit difficult. You do have to have a knowledge of the fabric that you're actually using. For instance, if I'm using a fabric that is very easy to fray and get ripped and damaged, I'm not going to cut the seams so short. If that were the case, I would leave a little bit just for some wiggle room. But since this is not the case, I don't really care to have large seams, as it just adds up on the bulk. And with this dress, I want it to be sleek and chic. I want it to look well tailored and structured, and I think I did finally get that, which I can't tell you how happy I was. I was saying some Hail Marys.
Well, 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 it looks like this dress will do. So now I've got to put a closure on the back and then of course embellish it and make it look like it's ready for a superstar. And don't worry about these saggy titties. I will have them looking great in a bit. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do the closure, and then I'm going to get started on rerooting her hair. So I painted this face and I do think that it's cute, but I feel like I can do better, at least in the eyes. I really want them to be a little bit more expressive and not so blocky. So I'm gonna remove them with acetone, and I hope to keep the eyebrows because I really do like them, and I hope to keep the lips, I do like them. After I remove the eyes, I'm going to add some Mr. Super Clear again, and then I'm going to map out the eyes again. I want to go with like a more I don't know, classic Superstar era type of an eye screening. So I'm going to break out my Superstar dolls and look at them and see which one has the best eye screening for this project. There, that's better. Making mistakes. Let's talk about it. This whole project seemed to be one big mistake after another. And this is not my first time designing a doll. It is my 1,000,000th time designing a doll. So if I am still making mistakes, so can you. Don't get discouraged whenever you do make mistakes. This doll had 4 different faces, 4 different outfits. She almost had a different face mold completely, and it's not the one you think. And I'm honestly kind of happy I didn't go the route that I was really thinking about. I was going to use Millie. Yeah, I was. I wanted to give her a chance. And then I said to myself, no. I've seen some collectors out there and some artists that make their Millie molds really beautiful dolls. I'm just not really in love with that head sculpt. If you'd like to see my take on a Millie mold, let me know down in the comments. Maybe I'll do something. I don't know. Don't know what I'll do. It probably won't be like one of these dolls, but it'll be something. It'll be something. But yeah. If you do happen to make mistakes, do not stress out about it. Just keep trucking. You might come up with something that you even like better than what you initially designed in your head. Where this doll is concerned, I designed her at least 5 different times. I just wanted to tell you, don't worry about your mistakes. Just keep on doing it. Well, I will be the first to say that it is never easy to start all over, especially when you have to start right back at square one. This doll, at the end of her completion, took one full can by herself of Mr. Super Clear. And that is just simply because I really couldn't come up with a face. I was kind of getting lost in the sauce and trying to incorporate many different dolls into one, and it just wouldn't work. When at the end of the day, I just should have really been looking only exclusively at my Superstar Barbie, as she held the answers that I was looking for. Something that I tend to not do, like I said before, is paint the scalp, but what I'm doing right here is I'm adding a hair pattern. This doll is ultimately going to have 3 different tones of hair, so I really wanted to map out exactly where I wanted to have the different tones of hair. As the original Superstar Barbie had different tones of hair, I wanted to make sure that my tribute doll followed suit. That and the fact I have a lot of hair that I don't have enough to fully root one full scalp, that I could always blend together and make it look good. So in a way, I was reusing some hair that I honestly couldn't complete a whole head with. And here's the face up. I think it looks completely better than what it did before. I decided that I would like to add some glitter onto the sunglasses that I last minute decided she needed, as well as her shoes. I was inspired to give her sunglasses from Superstar Ken because he came with sunglasses, and added to the fact that they're literal stars. So to me, you really can't get any more campy than that. I just wanted to play around with the doll's shoe straps just a bit, so that way they kind of differed from each other, because with the paint I chose and how I painted it all metallic, the shoe mold kind of got lost in the translation. Now these shoes and the glasses are going to need to have 2 full coats of the glitter. Okay, so I rooted her some lashes and I'm gonna cut them. I've never seen one with lashes before, so I think it's gonna look pretty interesting. I can't really tell if it adds or takes away from the sculpt itself. I think it will look completely better once I do root this doll's head. Okay, so we have the reroot done. She has at least like 3 tones of hair. If you are interested in how to reroot, how to thatch and everything, I do recommend that you go check out my playlist under doll tutorials and restorations. That will be the playlist that you want to see to watch how to reroot and how to thatch and all of that. And they're all separate videos, so that way it's easier for you all to watch. And of course, there will always be entertainment packed in there as well. But this is looking pretty cute, pretty great. I was very skeptical at first, even whenever I rerooted it, The hair is not the way that I originally designed, but I actually do like it better this way, as I was toying with it and everything, and plus it will look a little bit more classic superstar. But I'm super excited to get like these finishing touches finished because she's been waiting a while. I've made some charms that will go on a bracelet. One has like a little bee on it, one's got a jewel. This is gonna be like for her necklace, this will be for a bracelet that she's gonna wear. And I've made some more charms like the necklace one, and I'm gonna put that around a chain and rhinestone belt. And here's some parts of the belt right here. I've got like some other little dangly bits. They're like purples and pinks and opals and stuff, and I'm going to put that on the chain too. And I'm also going to bejewel her gown. This is what I have so far. I think it looks pretty nice, but I would like it to be a little bit more flashy, just a little bit more shiny. I used to make all kinds of dolls, like whenever I first started, like in high school, and they would always be like studded in like diamonds and crap, and I've kind of like escaped from it because it reminds me of my past designs, which I can show you right now. These dolls right here are the earliest dolls that I have from like my designing collection. I have sold off quite a few. I've kept really honestly my favorites. This one was the first one that I made back in like senior year of high school. And I made it because I couldn't afford like the designer Cinderella doll at that time. So I went to Goodwill and I found this Disney store Cinderella who was like really beat up, and I just, you know, I thought I was restoring, I was customizing, and I made her into the Cinderella doll right here, which, you know, again, like they're like studded with like all these like cheapo diamonds, and like some of them have better diamonds, like Ariel right here, which her lips have bled over the years, but she was like my most proudest design. I made like the little rock seat and everything, and I just really adored it. And I put like a wire in her fish fins, and yeah, I just like went above and beyond like with her. Like I had so much fun, and she was like one of those rare cases like where everything just worked out. I didn't have to make like several outfits, because like with a lot of these, like I tend to have to make several outfits for them to actually like fit, but with her, she just worked out perfectly. Again, like it goes to show like how far I've come, because a lot of these probably would be considered a little bit tacky, but I do like them. I like to keep them around as a memory for how far I've come, and I can show you some more. This Snow White doll I made from scratch, and I made this probably about 5 to 6 years ago. It's hard to believe it's been that long, but with all my dolls, like I always like tended to do like little details and stuff, and just really would go above and beyond. But she was like my revision of how I wanted these dolls to look. Again, OG ones, and then whenever I was a little bit more trained, I made stuff like this. So as we go on up, we can look at our Sleeping Beauty. I made this Sleeping Beauty probably about right before COVID hit. I was so incredibly proud of her. I still kind of am. I kind of like, the face is a little harsh, but the outfit and everything, again, it was one of those rare cases where everything just worked out the way it should. But I chose pink because a lot of times collectors really like to put her in blue, and I know companies like to put her in pink, but I just wanted her to stand out, and I love pink, so yeah. If I had to do her over again, I would choose a different hair color, and I would definitely do a different type of a face. But again, she is what she is, and I do quite like her. Over here, we've got Cinderella. I made this Cinderella as like a revision for the Cinderella that I already made, and her head is sculpted as well. I would have done something a little bit different with her head. Should I do it now? But the gown itself to me is just one of my crowning achievements. I really loved making it, and it's got ruffles and everything, and she's got stockings and bloomers and glass slippers. But with these Disney dolls, like I wanted to make them really luxurious and really glamorous, and so that was always the goal whenever it came to those. And even now, because this doll is probably like 4 years old now, I've improved my sewing techniques and my finishing techniques. So like, again, all of these are just like a testament of hard work and really just experimenting, because nobody taught me how to do this. Again, I just did this on my own, and these are probably my favorites. I used to work at the attraction Pirates of the Caribbean, and my favorite scene was the redhead scene. And when they removed her, I felt a certain way, and I decided to make it myself. And yeah, I made the pirate, the auctioneer, and he's like very detailed. So everything is lined, and he's got buttons and real pockets, and even his pants have real buttons and pockets, and his boots are made out of real goatskin leather, and he's got mohair, rooted hair. It's like from a goat as well. I don't know why I used like real animal, but I just didn't want it to peel over time. He's got like a real sword that I made and everything. We go on down to the redhead herself. We go to her little custom body. I made this probably about 3.5 years ago. But yeah, so they're very detailed. That's just something that I like to do. Just a little piece of Disney history for you. Whenever I was a trainer, a lot of people that I work with probably don't know that, but I was. I just don't want it again. But yeah, this was like my first introduction into doll making. And now, since we've seen that I can bedazzle a bitch like no other, I think that it's time to bedazzle the hell out of this costume. Okay, so she is so close to being done, but let's go ahead and look at her jewelry. So I've made like the little bracelet. You can see like the little bee on it, little charm bracelet. And I made her this waist chain, and the reason I put a waist chain on her is because the OG Superstar Barbie, sometimes like store exclusives came with these little charm bracelets that had a Superstar logo on it. And I kind of wanted to bring that into this design. The outfit itself totally does not need this. I honestly think that this makes it look a little bit more gaudy, but we're going for something campy with this series. Like this Barbie makeover series, it's all about the camp. That's really what it's all about. So I'm trying to incorporate all the camp in with her. Now, I can't decide if I'm done with this or I'm not done with this, and it is time to take her hair out of those curlers. So I'm gonna play around with her a bit, and then I think she will be ready for the reveal, and I hope you all love her. And there you have it, my friends. That is my tribute doll to the Superstar Barbie. In my opinion, she is campy, she is Barbie core, which was the goal for this entire project. difficult. Although this project did do my head in, it really did stress me out. I always have fun creating and designing for Barbie. And whichever superstar era doll that you connect with the most, just know that you slay. The superstar doll really means so much to me. She was the start of a new era for Barbie, which told children that they can be and do anything. And for a creative person like myself, that means everything. With every design that I've made with each of these little Barbie Makeover series dolls, I've tried to replicate the quality of the past, just to make her slay once more. As our girl Barbie used to slay all day, every day, and her face card was never denied. And it's because of her that I have such high standards. Standards that I hope makes a return in her future.
I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and I really hope again that you were inspired to make your own Barbie creations. I did, and I'd love to see yours as well. Thank you all so much for watching, and please stay tuned. Every single month I'm going to do these dedication weeks. So I will have a week dedicated to a specific item that I want to go over, where I will try to dedicate that whole week to that one period, franchise, or to that one particular doll. I don't know. It's going to be an ongoing thing that I want to do for all of my viewers who have subscribed. So thank you all so much. If you do enjoy this video, please like, comment, ring the bell so you're notified whenever I upload new content. I have weekly content for you every single week, usually 2 videos where we can talk about our little hobby, anything that interests us, and then also have a couple jokes along the way. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful and magical and super rest of your day. Bye!
Superstar Barbie! Hi, I'm Judy. I want you to meet new Superstar Barbie doll. With long streaked hair, even jewelry you can put on or take off. And now when you buy new Superstar Barbie, you get this necklace free while supplies last. Or when you buy any Superstar Barbie fashion, you get a free bracelet while supplies last. They're so beautiful. Superstar Barbie doll comes with necklace, earrings, rings, shoes, and gown from Mattel.